On this week's episode of Athletes Anonymous Presents After the Buzzer, we're going to be getting into a lot of different conversations, but most importantly that we missed LeBron and the scoring title. So let's get to that intro music. And welcome back to the podcast. I am your co-host, Keone McKeague, and with me as always are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Nolan Chang, Jalen Holston, Jared Shirai. Say what's up to the pod, boys.
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Aloha.
Aloha, indeed.
Aloha.
Mora. No, just like, because Hogwarts Legacy. Anyway.
Rebellion.
Man, I don't
Literally
know how,
the whole game is just Rebellion, Rebellion, Rebellion.
yeah. Not to go off topic, but I don't know how many times I can watch every single video about Avada Like, it's just funny. Like, so many people, like, I don't know. Anyway, the things people come up with, they're so creative. But anyway, we're here to talk about basketball, not Hogwarts Legacy. So here we are on Athletes Anonymous Presents After the Buzzer. Again, like I said, experimental. We're trying this out. You guys seem to enjoy kind of breaking it up a bit. So today's conversation will be strictly basketball stuff. I'm going to start with the man, the myth, the legend, Nolan Chang, because we completely skipped over something that did happen recently. But
Oh no! Dang
although
it!
you're
So sad.
although you are a LeBron through proxy of the Laker fan, I'm going to speak more towards the Lakers because obviously there was a lot of turmoil that happened, whether it be during the game, after the game. Obviously, we've seen the comments about how Anthony Davis was feeling about possibly about losing the game, even though LeBron did break the scoring title. So I'm going to have you speak more on that point of where your Lakers' overall frame of mind is at right now.
Their frame of mind is, shit, we got to get our done. I can't speak. Bro, they're trying to get together. Exactly. That's what it looks like on the court, too.
I was like, what is that?
I think it was like 12 of your next 16 just to make the fucking play-in. So my bet's looking really good right now.
16, and we're going to get there so that you take that shotgun.
Oh, you have to win 16 to make the play-in.
I think so. 16, or to guarantee a play-in, at least a play-in. I
thought it was like 12 of the next 16.
I was like, we're in the same boat. So
if you
know,
lock it up a little bit.
But yeah, I think that it is a very big kind of win now thing for them. Not like it wasn't supposed to be that before the scoring title.
I was like, what changed?
Obviously, AD had some discourse going or during the game because he wanted to win the game, and they were down by like 5, I think, when they took the third quarter break, which I thought was really stupid. I don't understand why you would try to throw off any momentum just so that you could give LeBron his flowers when you can easily do that after the game. If you were going to do the speech when you were already losing the game, why not give him the speech after the game, whether we won or not, right? Because it was emotional regardless of how the game was going for him. Rightfully so. You know, he's now the leading scorer in NBA history, so good for him. But it didn't make sense. You know, stop the game, give him the game ball, call it there, then continue to play. I think you really threw off any momentum because I think, if I remember correctly, we were down and made a push to close the gap, and then that third quarter happened, cut it off, give him the speech, and then everything was just kind of thrown off right at the jump of the fourth quarter. So I think that was a big issue, and I think AD was right in feeling and looking the way he did on the bench and the screen because there was a bigger picture for the short term that should have been more of a focus, and they didn't have it, and they lost the game. And we mentioned it off the pod. Every time LeBron breaks a record, we lose that game. So you could have broken the curse, but we didn't. And now we are in the win now attitude, which we should have been in before. But I think that I do like the connection that we are kind of picking up right now. I think Darvin Ham finally, for once in his life, put out an actual smart rotation to start a game, which was the 3 Wolves players who have built chemistry, and then AD and LeBron as the forward and center. So now you have at least guys that can click together before you move on to the bench with Schroeder, who can kind of run that second unit. He's been in and out of the starting lineup for all the teams that he's played for, so Schroeder can definitely do that. You still have guys like Reeves, Hachimura, who are coming off the bench and can kind of produce. Yeah. So we have a team that is built to do well. I'm not going to say that we are a championship team. We have a roster now that can do well. We don't have any of the social media antics of, is Westbrook a detriment to the Lakers now because he's gone, and thank you, Westbrook. You did a phenomenal job off the bench.
Like in a month it'll be, is Westbrook a detriment to the Bulls?
We'll see, right? And that's neither here nor there, because I think Westbrook is getting a bad rap for all they're amplifying things that don't need to be amplified, but he is a phenomenal energy and player. Hall of Famer, like everyone mentions, and he did exactly what he needed to do on the Lakers, whether we liked it or not. We always pick a scapegoat on our team whenever it comes to trade deadline season, so that's not on him. So the Lakers, we have to win at least, I think, 16 of the next 24 or something like that to guarantee at least the play-in. And if the Lakers catch their stride, I think that coming in the play-in and then, kind of taking that maybe 7th or 8th seed, it's going to be interesting to see, because the 1 and 2 seeds, everything is still pretty close except for the 1 and 2 seeds in the West. So if we do face against like the Nuggets or the Suns when it comes down to the first round, that'll be pretty exciting, and I guess a big test for us as well to see if this roster was exactly what we needed. But here we are.
Fantastic points. Jared, I'm going to swing it over to you. Obviously, as the LeBron fan here.
And by proxy, Laker.
yeah, exactly. The opposite way for you. Yeah, exactly. Wow, geez, they get mad. Calm down.
No, I had to sit up.
So as a LeBron fan,
sit up. No,
I'm gonna kind of. So first and foremost, talk scoring, title, champion, whatever whatever way you want to call it. It's obviously a big deal. Gonna let you speak on it. What are your thoughts on LeBron all time as a scorer? And then I'm gonna ask a little bit of a follow-up question, but I'm gonna let you have your time in the sun here real quick with the LeBron breaking the scoring title.
I mean, it's been a while. I'll keep it short, but no, it's by far, Kareem's record was a record that nobody thought would be broken. But after 20 years, I think Jalen brought it up. You're in the league for 20 years. You've been to how many playoff games? Just in general, like the longevity. Everybody talks about the longevity of LeBron, and it's bound to happen. His career scoring average.
Well, it's bound to happen when you're LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah, his career scoring average about 27, 28 points a game. You put it over 20 years. I mean, you're basically gonna get there. He didn't miss a whole lot of games until the last few years of his career. So, I mean, that kind of is where the longevity talks about, right?
That's incredible. There should be like that. That's an incredible thing.
Yes,
but continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
James is over there preparing.
No. James getting ready. He's ready. No, I mean, but yeah. Breaking Kareem's record and the way they did it, I do get why they stopped the game, because like they did the same thing for Steph when Steph broke Reggie, and maybe there was different circumstances. I'm pretty sure the Warriors were winning in that instance and everything, and they weren't making a comeback. But at the same time, they and of course, I mean,
they won the
don't
game.
Put it away. LeBron breaks a record, we don't win the game. It's okay. He breaks a record, we don't win the game. It's okay. Like, he broke the record. Like. And I think
it's not okay. We need to win the game.
I think I think a lot of it has to do with, like, there's so much focal point on that sometimes winning gets away from everybody. Because I don't think LeBron needed to have the ball in that moment at the end of the third quarter. Like, they could have just ran their easy offense, got rid of the third quarter, maybe break it right at the buzzer, and then whatever, or break it in the fourth quarter sometime. When you need a timeout, give LeBron the ball. You would have got like a free 20-minute timeout right there. Like, stop the team scoring run. Literally, it's a free timeout is what happened, and it benefited not the Lakers. So, I mean,
who it should have benefited.
Yeah, it should have benefited Lakers, but I mean, like, when like you said, in those
free
times and everything
timeout,
else,
you rest
it's
up,
emotional.
You're excited, right?
Yeah,
but nope.
But
Yeah.
But I mean, kudos to LeBron. I mean, like I am the LeBron fan, so kudos to LeBron. I'm gonna give him his flowers and everything when it comes to that, because that is a record meant like that. Like I said, nobody thought would be broken, but after this many years and the way he's played, does it make him a scorer? I mean, I don't know. Like,
I was just about to say, this is your follow-up question: is he a top 5 scorer of all time?
Like
top 5 scorer? I mean, he has to be. I mean, he's done it for so long. He's led his team in scoring. I mean, yeah, he hasn't won a scoring title. He's won one scoring title, if anything. But I mean, on every team that he's played on, he is their go-to scorer in a sense. He can literally put his head down and get to a basket anytime he wants. He could be in the post because of his freak size and nature. Just all these little things. It has to make him one of the top 5 scorers of all time. Whether he chooses to be a top 5 scorer of all time when he plays the game is a different story. We've known LeBron from day one to now, and he's never been a score first person. He's been a pass first. He's been make the right play first. But there are times in his career where he has shown that when it needs to get done, he can put the ball in the basket easy. Like get to the basket, just drive through his left. If he goes left, he's going straight to the hole, and he's gonna get all the way to the basket and score.
He's doing one power dribble with his left and. Boom,
yeah,
boom.
And then like 1-2 body, and then he's either going up with a dunk or he's going up with an easy layup. I mean, like I said, he can score, and obviously the record shows. So,
and then the last kind of follow up question, I feel like Jay is just sitting over there.
Jay's waiting. And Jay's gonna talk.
I'm just confirming some things. That's all.
So I want to throw out the question because I do think that it's relevant to the conversation that we're having about him breaking the scoring title. And obviously, as much as I hate this happening every single time something does happen for LeBron, we're here. I mean, it's going to happen. The debate happens every single time a new accolade is added, and we have to kind of get into this conversation. But I'm going to ask, do you think that by him breaking the scoring title, and for all intents and purposes in a more vague scope of what happens with this conversation, a lot of people feel like, Jordan was a greater scorer, and that always ends up being the debate that LeBron is more well-rounded and Jordan is a great scorer. But now, obviously, LeBron is number 1 in scoring all time, surpassing a record that nobody thought would be broken, like you had already stated. So I'm curious, do you think that this helps build a case for him being the GOAT?
It does and it doesn't. It's just in what spectrum that people like to talk about. If we're going, like everybody will bring up in every conversation of the GOAT, championships, then no, doesn't help him at all. He may be the most scoring player in playoff history, now all-time history. But if we're going based off of that, then no, it doesn't help him. A lot of people just like to put championships on it. I mean, if we're putting championships on it, then Bill Russell is by far the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's got a number that nobody's ever going to touch. Let's just be real about that. I mean, if we're talking about
Robert Horry is number 2.
Exactly. Right. I mean, like you got to add all these people into, and so that's where like I think views get skewed, because they're like, if you're going head to head, yes, it's one thing, but then you look at all these other great players or other players that played like big parts in championship runs, like Robert Horry. Like would some of these players have their championships if not for Big Shot Rob? For me, I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth with it because I've lived through the Jordan era. I lived through the LeBron era. I've got to watch two different styles of play. Yeah. I mean, I got to watch Bill Russell with his trophy.
Sorry, guys.
I got to watch Bill Russell get his 10th. We're good to go. No. But yeah, I watched the 2 eras. They're 2 completely different players. I mean, if we're going greatest of all time and greatest athlete of all time, I think that's how I would label the 2. Because, I mean, I think Jalen said it, like, LeBron's just God's gift talent right there. And that's a freak athlete. And then you have somebody like Jordan who just had that mindset and that grind and that dog in him to be the best player because he got cut from his high school team, because he had all these other things that he had to fight against. Even coming into the league, They asked him to play a little team ball.
You're doing a very good job at staying directly on the fence. You're doing a very good job at tiptoeing around the question.
It's just hard because, like, for me, it's because I got to watch, like I said, I got to watch both of them play, like not live, but like on TV and just like live through their eras. I'm living through LeBron's era right now. He came in the league in 2003 or something? Yeah, 2003. And like Jordan left the league. I mean, and I was born in '83 when I think Jordan was drafted.
Yeah,
83, 84. Yeah, so you got to understand, like, I've lived through all their basically their professional career, so I got to watch the way they play the game. So for me, it's not just being the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It's like if you break it, I don't even like to break it up into eras because for me, I'm biased. I think it's the Jordan era, and then I think there's a LeBron era. You know, there's a little bit of a Kobe era, but I think those are my two eras. Like those are my two eras.
Squeezed right in the middle.
Because
how do you skip the Kobe era?
If we're going 1, 2, 3, it's going to be LeBron and Jordan.
As the 2 and 3,
as a 1 and 2,
then Kobe.
And then there's Kobe at 3. You know, I mean, just the impact that they've all had on the game and everything. Like Keone said, I'm going to tiptoe the line because I don't have a definitive answer.
See, but right there, you said LeBron and Jordan. You put Jordan second in yours. You said the 1 and 2 is 1, 2, 3 is going to be LeBron and Jordan, and then Kobe. You said LeBron and Jordan.
You are reading.
Elaborate. Explain.
Into the line.
See, even alphabetically, it would be Jordan then LeBron. So I'm just saying, maybe there's a reason why subconsciously you put LeBron first.
I'm just not going to argue with you on this. Because I mean, okay, we'll put it this way, like to keep it short. I watch all the talk shows, you know, like they always talk about those. And you listen to their arguments. Like some are really sound, some are just like you're just talking out of your ass. Some are people like they have little things here and there.
Come on,
Skip is Skip, man. I can't handle Skip.
Skip is Jordan.
I love listening to Shannon, even though Shannon's a huge LeBron fan. Like I just love listening to that.
I can't. Just not even Shannon. That whole show, I
love listening to the two of them just go at it. Not really listening to points.
Like both of them have no credibility for me. It's just they're too much.
Shannon does. Shannon makes great points all the time.
For
Skip
football,
is out his fucking neck, bro. Every time. But anyway,
Skip will always talk, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I never said that," and then he goes back and then like, "Oh, wait, let me bring back this clip," and then they show it, and it's like, bro, you are like the biggest like.
They're so petty.
Hypocrite ever. They're hilarious, but yeah, I mean, I've listened to so many different things, and it for me, every person has good points. Every person has bad points on where and where the two should rank, and who
except for Nick Sirianni, can't stand that guy.
Oh yeah, I can't stand that guy either.
Gosh,
but. I think was it Jay Williams that had brought it up?
Yeah, it's funny because the reason why I asked the question was because of the argument between Stephen A. and Jay Will about whether or not LeBron was a top 5 scorer. Because I believe Stephen A. said that he is not a top 5 scorer. Yeah. But Jay believes that he definitely should be.
Yeah, Jay's like all the points that I brought up, I think I brought up from that podcast, from that fight when Jay was talking about like he scores 20 points, he scores he's the biggest scorer in the league.
Consistently,
and he's always their team's leading scorer. So,
and efficiently, by the way, on top of that.
Yeah,
he's like not as efficient as Jordan, but efficient still.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I am with it. I don't have an answer for you. I mean. It's so hard.
Oh, you're going to have an answer for me soon when we get to that top 5 all time. Yeah, Nolan, you need to turn your mic on. So, so when we get there, I'm sure whatever you said was hilarious, but we're going to move on to Jay.
No, I said, you need to have an answer.
I was like, when we get to top 5 all time, you better have a damn answer. So anyway, going over to Jay. Obviously, we are Bulls fans.
Indeed.
Get that out of the way. We'll just take that, slide that over here. In the same vein of what I kind of brought up with Jared, and obviously you've heard Jared's points on it. Do you think that with all of the stuff surrounding him, is it the longevity, the obviously the accolades and all of this adding to his career now with the scoring title. Is there an emphasis more on the look of the career as opposed to the actual career, I guess, is my question to you. Do you think that he, in chasing these accolades, has kind of murkied the waters as far as like whether or not he has had this very successful career path thus far, and especially in GOAT conversations?
Thank you very much, Keone. Glad you asked me that question.
Yes, Stephen A.
Let me just bring it to you down like this, right? When I watched Michael Jordan, right, in his prime in Chicago, I didn't hear nothing about him trying to chase no stats and records. I saw a young man go out there and play basketball. That's all I saw. Every time we talk about LeBron James, he breaks this record, he breaks that record. That's all we hear about. We don't talk about what's really going on with the Lakers right now. And right now, I can tell you this, because I do have some information from some people. I had some good conversations. I called AD yesterday. He called me on the phone. He said, "Oh my God, please help me." Anyway, right now, I think LeBron's lost the locker room. And when you lose the locker room, bad things start to happen. Ain't nobody care about you breaking the scoring title, LeBron, because you lost the game, right? Ain't nobody care about you scoring triple doubles, LeBron, because you lost the game. Okay? That's all he is in the last 3 years of his career is a meme. Okay? LeBron James is no longer in this GOAT conversation. That's just plain, period, done, simple. Because I can tell you this right now. If Michael Jordan had played another 10 years in that league to round out 20, he wouldn't be in this conversation. LeBron would be chasing for the rest of his life. That's a guarantee right there. And he better be thankful that for some reason, some wicked, devilish man decided to take Michael Jordan's father from him, giving him a 2-year break to go play baseball because he'd have 8 rings instead of 6. All right? That's just how that is. Thank you. Point made.
Realistically, he could have had 10 rings if he didn't retire after 98 as well.
Exactly.
Not just that, but if they had never broken up the band, maybe, we'd be talking about.
I was also going to say
a literal full decade of championships. So.
We talk about how Bron is now the top scorer, but Jordan played about 350 less games.
Correct.
You add that in, 6,000 points, the difference between their 2 ranks, is chump change to Michael Jordan if he plays those extra 5 years, though, when he retired, right?
Right.
And obviously, Jordan was known as a dynamic scorer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
LeBron, arguably, is a scorer. So I don't think this specific record can be attributed to whether or not someone is the greatest.
I'm gonna say, and that's where I'm coming from with it as well, because the thing is, like, and Michael said it himself.
Okay,
like,
before
if he
you continue,
cared
that
about
was a fantastic Stephen A.
Thank you.
That was by far the head snap. That was the best version you've done thus far.
He's like, "Hey, they call me." He's like, "Help me, help me."
Yeah. This little and when I tell you, like his head moving, like I was like, "Oh my God, that was perfect." Anyway, sorry.
You're watching a lot of that, huh?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I do watch a lot of Stephen A. because he's just phenomenal.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, like really. The thing about it is, though, like Michael said himself, like when I hear this conversation about GOATs, and there's amazing stats that you can pull up between Michael and LeBron at the same age. Mm-hmm. It's Jordan on rings, it's Jordan on scoring titles, it's Jordan on defensive player of the year, it's Jordan on, I think they're even on points, and it's Jordan on like all-star appearances, all pros, like. So what are we really talking about when it comes to the GOAT conversation? Because he's not catching Michael in any of those categories at the same age, and Michael played less games and had a shorter career. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, like, stats didn't matter to Michael. He wanted to win championships. Like, that is what you played the game to do, is to win championships. And I don't think that's LeBron's concern, and it never has been. Because if it really was, a lot of things would have happened differently in Cleveland. A lot of things would have happened differently in Miami. And a lot of things certainly would have happened differently here in LA. And I know I was in Stephen A. character, but I do wholly believe that locker room is so done with playing with LeBron. Like, I think the reason they can't actually win basketball games is because they're sick and tired of playing with the meme that is now LeBron James. And like with the way they're sitting right now, the win streak they would have to go on, even if he comes back from this injury that he's got, whatever, would have to be something quite magical. And I don't know if a locker room that is that like just toxic at the moment of not wanting to deal with LeBron James can do that. And so that's, again, I don't see this being a real conversation. Like, if you want to have a GOAT discussion about, is it like Kobe, Michael, or Kareem, like, that's a great debate. But to me, from where I'm sitting, I think LeBron's going to go down as the most accomplished player statistically, but like, he's not in a GOAT conversation for me at all, because GOATs don't sit the game out after they score a scoring title. GOATs don't, like, that's not what they do. Like, winners go and win the game. And LeBron's had some phenomenal moments in his career. Don't get me wrong. I think when he went back to Cleveland, that was like a cool thing for him to kind of eclipse that
very cool moment,
part of his legacy, like, right? Because he finally brought one home to Akron for the boys, and all that good stuff. After he finally got that experience of what it's like to go win a championship, Miami with D Wade and Chris Bosh, what have you. But it's just, it's hard for me to put him in that category with Michael and Kobe, because they were just completely different mindsets of what was the priority. I don't like Kobe set records, but I don't think he cared about scoring 81 points in the game. He cared about winning the game. He just happened to do it with 81 points. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with Michael. Michael didn't care about winning, this NBA scoring title or winning Defensive Player of the Year. He just happened to do it that year because that's what he needed to do to be better for a championship run. So that's the difference there between LeBron and Michael, is that this mentality and where they sit and how they operate as players is not even close to the same. And you can't convince me. And you know what I mean? Like, and I grew up with more of the LeBron era than the Jordan era, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that is interesting about all of our perspectives, is that technically speaking, majority of us grew up in the LeBron era.
Most of us saw Kobe and LeBron. Yeah. Most of us saw Kobe and LeBron in this chat. Like,
we caught the tail end of the Jordan era. Obviously, we caught the championship run, which makes a big difference. But it is interesting to me when people bring that up. Like, I've had conversations off pod, or whether even here we talk about how we're like old heads or whatever. But realistically, we're not, because we did grow up watching the full,
we are the old heads now.
Like LeBron, technically, I guess, because now LeBron's an old head. Technically, it's considered, but the perspectives are interesting. It is definitely a conversation to be had. We will be definitely having this conversation on a later pod, and I am excited for it. Even though I don't feel like it's going to be as controversial as I'm, thinking it's going to be, because all our other lists were basically all the same people, minus one very heated conversation regarding small forwards. But check out that episode; it was great. Anyway, so I'm going to move on a little bit, because we're now it's the middle of All-Star Weekend. I'm just going to get your quick hitter thoughts. Not that anybody really watched this weekend, but I just kind of want to speak to that fact right there. We talked about the Pro Bowl. We talked about how they're changing things up. The NBA and the NFL are obviously very different sports. How the game can be played for the NBA is a lot different for how the game can be played for the NFL, as far as like a full-blown actual contact type of game. So we're in the NBA spectrum. I'm just curious. I mean, do you think that there is some sort of reformatting that needs to occur in order for people to be drawn back to the All-Star game? Because I believe this year's dunk contest was one of the lowest viewed dunk contests of all time. And then for, generality reasons, like a lot of the Celebrity All-Star game, one of the lowest viewed, like essentially it is in the lower spectrum of viewership for, any of the big sports moments. So I'm just kind of curious, all of your thoughts, starting off with you, Nolan. I'm like, do you think that there is a change that needs to happen? And is there something that you feel like could be the solution to like the viewership just dropping in the last 10 years?
I'll start off by saying the one thing that they've done right is changing the format of the actual game. I think having the ability to make like a pickup at the park, pick the guys, because half the time LeBron, if he was on the East, he would never be able to play with Steph Curry on the same team. So it makes a lot more sense that you kind of make this as like a weird little fun draft pickup
game
of the
Kobe
dude,
Jordan
that would have been
team would have been
super fun.
Yeah.
In regards to the build-up, I don't mind anything they do with the celebrity game, the Rising Stars game. That's fine. That's all good and well. It gives these young guys an opportunity, as well as guys.
Not to put you on the spot, but did you watch anything like
just
live,
clips
not
here
like
and there?
I was saying,
No.
so clips. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought.
So I think it's always fun, especially for the celebrity game. You get guys like DK Metcalf coming in, having fun playing a different sport.
Did you see his vertical? He can jump like
Gronk looked great.
12 feet in the sky.
Yeah.
That's
Really?
a real video.
Real piece of shit. But yeah, I think those are all fun and well for the Friday night. Saturday, what I don't think they needed to do was change anything with that format. You could have gone with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Skills challenge, they have them do the obstacle course. 3-point challenge, that doesn't really change too much, but they added all these, like, you get the money ball here, and this is here now. You can start here and do this.
You can select where your money balls are.
Yeah, we're not asking you to figure out what ways you can cut points. You're just trying to outshoot the other guys.
That's why I didn't like that they kind of were like, I forgot what year it was. It might have been maybe a few years back when Curry actually won, and they were kind of like, or was it Curry? Yeah, and they said something like, he had the most points, but I was like, didn't they also add more points because they like the money ball, a
whole rack of money balls or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was something they didn't need to change. The dunk contest, just go back to the old way. Make it like 2 rounds. The first round, you get the highest score, you make it out of that. And I think the biggest thing with it is you picked a lot of no names for the dunk contest.
Who was in the dunk contest?
Jericho Sims from the Knicks, barely any minutes. Trey Murphy from the Pelicans, who actually he's pretty decent. He gets a lot more minutes. He probably gets the most minutes out of the 4 guys that compete.
Yeah, he gets like 14 minutes compared to like the 6 and the 2 minutes that everybody else gets.
Mac McClung just signed a 2-way contract this week in order for him to compete.
That's the only person in a dunk contest that I know so far.
See, it's funny because I actually knew of Mac McClung not because of the Lakers thing, but because of
I knew
and then Kenyon Martin
highlight days, YouTube days,
And Kenyon Martin?
Actually, Kenyon Martin probably has the most minutes out of everyone. But
yeah, I think he has the most minutes out of everyone.
Did not even make the connection that's...
you didn't know that's Kenyon
Martin Jr.?
Because he's KJ Martin on the... on the rosters, right? So, like, I didn't even put together that it's Kenyon Jr. Martin. So I was like, that's his son. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, the dunk contest, the biggest thing with it is everyone, they try to go for, like, novelty and antics in the dunk contest now, right?
Yeah.
I will say, I'll give credit where it's due for this tournament, or not this tournament, this competition this year. They didn't do any like weird props or anything. They had like a guest tosser or something like that. They went kind of traditional with their dunks. And I think that's the biggest thing you need to do. Like in the past, you've seen phenomenal dunks: Vince Carter, T-Mac, Kobe,
Howard dumping over the
Howard,
the
right?
Superman
I do think that we should have a like top 5 all-time like dunkers.
Dunkers or
dunk contest?
Dunk contest. I guess that could be top 5 dunk contest dunks, but
because you really think about arguably the best dunk contest in recent years, Levine versus Gordon.
Yep, 100%.
And there wasn't necessarily too many props, too many guests. They did have mascots kind of help here and there, but it was just straight up dunks, right? Nothing crazy, and I think that's the reason why Mac McClung did well this year is because his were traditional. Jump over someone, do a 360, do a 540, do like a 2-handed windmill. You can get away with getting out of the first round of a dunk contest by just copying what a dunk was in the past that people loved.
I gotta say,
you don't need to go like double between the legs and all around. You just do something that's phenomenal that most people can't do. You'll get out of the first round, and then if you want to show out and do something a little more exciting or,
you got to make
risky,
it though.
You got to make it. I knew he had it, but I did not know that Mac McClung was like that.
Oh, that springy.
Yeah, like I mean, I've
like
seen his videos, but it's just that was stupid. Anyway,
so I think the only thing that really needs to change or revert is the Saturday portion of the All-Star game. I just don't see the need to make everything so flashy with what they did this new pass contest this year where they just set up targets. Like, what's the point in that? That's not like necessarily the skills challenge, especially if you're picking 3 guys. Whoa!
Can't wait to see all the best passers go at it right now.
The only way that would have been entertaining is if Steve Nash came out of retirement or something, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, Jason Williams.
All of them, yes.
Even better.
Yes,
Jason
that's what I'm saying.
Jay Will, yeah.
All of the greatest passers of all time.
That little elbow
They're from the
pass
top rope.
They get their own team.
Yeah.
Really, though.
Jeez.
Oh,
but yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, was that it? Gotcha. All right. But I'm going to swing it over to you, Jared, because there is something that he hinted at that I was kind of curious about, because do you think that the dunk contest kind of issues lie in the fact that it's not as interesting anymore, or that they're not able to get kind of like the correct star power into the matchup, where people want to see like Ja go against Zion and Levine and Gordon, but we're not getting that. We're getting like bench guy playing G League guy
NBA
versus
2K
4 minutes,
like
6 minutes,
like
2K generations.
Or we're getting second round pick versus, you know what I mean? Like is it more that, or do you think that it's just like, are we at a point where dunks have, you can only go so far with how much the human body can do in a dunk contest?
I think it's more the latter, the second half of that. The star power is always what made the All-Star games. You watch like the Levine Gordon, like
Lord,
just
best
simple.
one.
Everybody just was hyped about that because they knew how great those two dunkers
Gordon got
were,
robbed. I'm just going to say. I'm just saying.
Low key.
Wow.
Low-key, yeah.
He should have won with the double under, and then
the double under with the spinner with the spin.
Double
I think the spinner was the bigger
stupid.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
The spinner was the bigger one.
But this was retarded. Like, I was like, how high he has to get for it to go completely under both legs, and then like, to me, like,
and then throw it down.
Like, I love Zach, but that just like the weak kind of from the line dunk. Like, I mean, it's hard, but at the same time, like, as far as
under
like
both though, like,
yeah,
you gotta bring it up. You gotta palm it, and then you gotta
like showmanship wise, it just I was upset that he ended up winning that one. I didn't think he deserved it.
You know why I think Zach won too? Because I feel like his dunks just look so much smoother.
I mean, he does.
Like the way he glides through, and like I think it's just the
that's what I'm saying.
Of what he.
But you tell me it didn't look like. Almost like Aaron Gordon could have went double times under his legs because he was so high up in the damn. I was like, he literally could have. It looked like he could have went like this around his back and dunked it because he was in the air for that long with it.
I think Levine could have done the same thing when he's behind the back one.
Yeah, see, and I don't know,
because he was flying on that one.
He looked there like fantastic, but I felt like they gave him too high of a score for the first one.
I agree. I think Aaron Gordon should have won that. But I think it does have to lie with the star power. And the star power being like the big names that everybody wants to see. Like you're gonna show up to those because those two are like gonna put on a show. Like back in the day, even if it was Steve Francis, Steve Francis was gonna go up and like the small man can dunk, he can fly. He threw down some nice and he gets up like 43.
Nate Robinson.
I think it was like 42, 43. Like, and when they had the jump meter, I think that was kind of cool with it too. I don't like the format in the sense of they're just 4 dunkers. Like when you had that, I mean, it's long, but when you had that round of 10 and all 10 could dunk, like that was how it was great to break down. And I don't think it's a lack of dunks that are being able to be made. I think it's like Nolan said, you find a dunk that you're really good at, that people want to see, and people like, it's not a dunk like the 540 or something like jumping over 2 guys, like something like everybody can do it to a certain extent. But if you do something with just a little more flair than it, like it doesn't have to be something massively spectacular.
I mean, even Aaron Gordon's first one, he's just got the mascot spinning on the hoverboard and then does the 360
the timing
off the
that
was crazy.
Like, I'll say it now. Probably one of the most known, but not necessarily the best dunker, was Kobe Bryant winning the dunk contest. But when you watch back how he did his dunks, he did it with ease. He did it with confidence, and it was never like a doubt that like I shouldn't be here or is this dunk going to be? His dunks, you look at it. Someone did these in the dunk contest now. Yeah, they would not get a high mark, but because of
that
like,
first round, man, they just
yeah. They just
like,
watch how it develops, and it's like
You literally just gotta make your dunk, like, because most people go so flashy that it's like they miss. So like when they had like the 7 or 8, 10 people in the dunk contest, like 6 of them would have missed their dunks.
Yeah, I mean, before we get
you got a 0.
Before we get too deep into it, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Jay. Like, do you appreciate the idea of kind of like all of the theatrics, or would you just like to see just dunkers being dunkers? Because obviously we have things where like they like change the jersey, or they like rip the shirt and there's another jersey, or there's a throwback. Like, what do you want to see as far as All-Star Weekend?
I can tell you there is one All-Star Weekend that is permanently stitched into my brain because of how entertaining and fun and athletic it was. And it was the Nate Robinson Dwight Howard dunk contest. And it had all of that. It had dunks.
David versus Goliath, like
right, and it was like the WWE theatrics because Dwight Howard put the Superman cape on and went over the car and all that, or had that, and then Nate jumped over the car. Like, it was all of the things that, like, they were simple-ish dunks, but they had that added layer of kind of like spectacle and like superhuman ability that like none of us can fucking do. Mm-hmm. So I think I like the good. Again, they just need to find the right balance of both, because to me, watching just like a dunk contest where there's no props, nothing, like that takes away from it being an All-Star Weekend. I can go to the fucking YMCA and watch dudes do that. You know what I mean? But like, when it's the All-Star event,
your YMCA. Wow, what YMCA are you going to? Mine is filled with a lot of old people just learning how to swim again. Like,
Jesus, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's like you're at the All-Star event, make it a spectacle, make it fun, make it a thing. But again, you got to put some money into like star power, because like no one cares about the like I said, who the hell is Mac McClung? Who the fuck is that? Who are you?
I will give Matt credit. He is a baller. He just
credit. Yeah, I mean, kudos. You won the dunk contest, but like, who are you? You know what I mean?
It is funny.
No one knew your name until yesterday.
All of the Chicago, because he was a Chicago Bull for like all of 2 weeks. But I think it's so funny that there were so many like Chicago Bulls legend Mac McClung wins the
legend.
like they keep
Lakers legend Mac McClung wins the dunk contest.
It's so funny.
Oh man!
Like, he literally, I don't think he played 1 minute for us. Like, it's funny. Yeah,
maybe that's the difference. Maybe we should have played him.
I'm just saying.
Him and Caruso at the same time.
All I'm saying is Kansas has a lot of draft picks that the Bulls can pick up. Okay, just throwing that out there. A lot of scorers.
I like
good forwards. A lot of good guards.
Is going, Jay.
Just saying.
But yeah, I think that was a fantastic breakdown of LeBron doing the scoring. I keep saying the scoring title. It's the number one scorer of all time. And then also the All-Star Weekend. Fantastic breakdown, boys. I think that'll do it for us here on Athletes Anonymous Presents After the Buzzer. Nolan, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at NolanKYT, NOLANKYT.
Jay, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, probably still engaged in a heated debate about LeBron James with my friend Kenny the Plug, a.k.a. Mackenzie Johnson. You may flame him at your will, at Jalen Holston. And you can find me on Instagram at @ArtByJalen, and you can find me on Twitch at Mokathanos_LGG.
As South Park would say, Kenny's can't catch a break. Swinging it over to you, Jared. Where can the people find you? Twitch affiliate.
Yes, woo! Twitch affiliate. No, Instagram and Twitch at JShirai, JSHIRAI, where hopefully I will get my character up to past level 10. Although I have a level 30 character, so
let's just start there. We're already there.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to play with you so you can get some XP, because
I need 10 more levels. Boost me too.
Yeah, I got boosted. I got my boosted character, and then I got my I'm over here character. Yeah. This character is level 10, and now it's at 30. So
right.
Yeah, but we'll be streaming hopefully some Warzone 2, getting the easy dubs that we get. So
I was watching some videos. I'm ready for some dubs, guys.
Yeah, boys. And on Twitter at JShirai808.
I was going to say, you almost forgot to. Yeah. All right.
And I almost forgot my Twitter.
Yeah. Anyway, I think. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at KONE, KYOHKNEE. Working on that, everything right now. Really? It is cool.
Nobody cares.
Honestly, the light of my eyes got me. Anyway,
the light is so extra, and I love every second of it.
Mine does that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a $40
mine
bid.
does that too.
This is $30. Came with a large popcorn. I was like, I'm not putting popcorn in it. I just kept it like under my chair. I was like, I'm keeping this.
You're like trying to put it on as the movie goes. Like, yeah.
It's funny because I bought Bianca a bucket from. Anyway, sorry. This is way off the pot idea. Sorry, we'll talk about this after. Thank you for joining us again on Athletes Anonymous Presents After the Buzzer. It has been a pleasure. It's been a joy. From all of us here at Poi N Soy.
Good vibes and love, everybody.
Yeah. Suck
bang, bang.
Bum. What?
Shoots. Shut up, Jalen.
Little bum, Jay.